Kids, it's time to tell you a little story. The story of how I was cursed. But before that, a quick little disclaimer. I absolutely love elementaryOS, the whole team behind it. It's an amazing desktop. Pantheon also, very cool. The design is amazing, and the whole community behind it, the developers, it's queer and it's just... I mean, nothing but love to them. Just continue doing what you can. What you are about to see on this video is not hate towards the elementaryOS team. It's just a weird experience that I had with it. But yeah, let's get started. It's the beginning of 2025, and I really want to try elementaryOS. Why? Because I always loved the distro, because I've used it for 2 months in total, and I always thought in the back of my mind that if something goes wrong with Fedora and Silverblue that I'm using right now, then I can just go back to elementaryOS because I absolutely love it and I can use it and it's amazing and blah 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 blah. So I grabbed my external SSD, which back then was this one. It's a Patriot 120 gig drive. And I also grabbed the elementaryOS ISO from their website. I download it, I burn it, and I go and install the OS. But right after installation, the graphics were messed up completely, not sure why, and I just couldn't use it. So I'm like, that's weird. Maybe something went wrong with my Wi-Fi or something, I don't know. So I go and reset my router, I reset all the local Wi-Fi stuff that I have here, and I go and reinstall it. But installation would fail. I would get this error message, and that was really weird. I tried everything, manually partitioning the drive, installing another distro, and then trying again elementaryOS, but I just couldn't install elementaryOS again on that drive. And I thought that, probably my drive is just broken or something. Let me just buy a new one. So that's what I did. I got myself a Crucial, I believe, 240 gig drive SSD again, and for a couple of months I just wasn't using it. But then, as I was slowly finishing up my first year of uni, I'm like, I've really missed Distro Dive, maybe I should do another episode. And while searching for distributions to use, I was like, I never did elementaryOS, let's absolutely do it. So I make all the graphics and stuff, and I post the teasers, and I get ready for the actual installation. I start recording, and for the first part, everything was going incredibly smooth. But then something happened, and you know what? I let you experience it with me. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Distro Dive. And I know that it's been a while, but today we're gonna be diving into elementaryOS 8.0.1 actually. I'm not sure why the ISO doesn't say that, probably because it's quite old. But yeah, it's been a while, and oh my god, I need to present it again. It's been a while since the last time that we did this. I know, I'm sorry. But hey, at least we're back now. And it's not just that we're back, elementaryOS is also back. Now you're gonna be like, Angelos, but we haven't looked into elementaryOS at all in the whole history of this show. Yeah, I know. I'm talking about the actual development of elementaryOS, because I'm gonna give you a history lesson right now. elementaryOS was an amazing distro a couple of years ago, like 2019, 2018, around that time. But then the development got screwed up quite a lot. Basically no updates, and the base was basically stuck at Ubuntu 18.04 because this is based on Ubuntu LTS. Then when Ubuntu 24.04, 2 LTSs later, came out, they made their next big release, which was elementaryOS 6, I believe. I'm not sure why it's taking so long to boot. Oh, finally. Yeah, it was elementaryOS 6, and the last one was 5, obviously. But it was based on Ubuntu 22.04, not 24.04. So then another year later, elementaryOS 7 came out based on 24.04, and now this is elementaryOS 8, and this is finally up to date. Now, to be fair, I'm not 100% sure about the whole timing of what I just said, and if those are the actual versions that elementaryOS was based on. It's just what I remember from personal experience, so I'm terribly sorry if I got that wrong. Anyway, this is the installer, and I can't move it with my mouse. I probably need to hold down the super key. By the way, this is my coffee, and I'm being way too cautious to not do that. Okay? But anyway, let's get started. This is not the installer that I remember, because this is the Pop! OS installer in my head, but technically elementaryOS started developing it before Pop! OS started using it. So anyway, it's a really cool installer. So I'm gonna pick English, United States for my language. I'm gonna select that. English US for my keyboard layout, that's perfectly fine. And erase disk and install. And let's see. Alright, I'm 99% sure that this is my actual drive, and yeah, this is it. JMacron generic, 240.1 gigabytes. This is my main, not operating system, but my main data drive, so I definitely don't want to nuke this. This is the USB stick that I have booting off of now, and this is my Fedora, my silver blue. And this is, yeah, alright, JMacron generic, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna hit next. Now, encryption. It's really good that they offer encryption by default. Technically, this is enabled, but I don't really like encryption on my main computer because, hey, it's a desktop. Who cares? I'm the only one using it. But to be fair, you should probably enable this, but I'm lazy, so I'm gonna hit don't encrypt for this test at least. Now, drivers. I love this screen. This didn't used to be an actual thing in the past. But the last time that I did this, that I checked this button, it broke the system. Basically, the installation didn't really fail, but when I rebooted, I had an unusable system. Now, I'm hoping that that was because of a temporary issue with the mirrors or something, and that this is not the case for all installs. So I'm gonna try this again, include third-party proprietary drivers when installing, agree the respective license and term of use. And I just really hope that this will actually work this time and I don't have to reinstall again and then install the drivers and all that. So I'm gonna hit erase and install, and there it goes. That was it. And yeah, I guess we're now gonna have to wait for it to finish installing. And while this is going on, don't worry, this is not a sponsored segment. I just want to talk a bit about my personal experience with elementaryOS, because I absolutely love it. It wasn't a distro that I used for an extensive amount of time. I was using elementaryOS 5 before the new login screen, if you know what I mean, for around a month, maybe even less than that. And then during the whole COVID pandemic, I used, I believe that was OS 5 still, but like one of the last ever releases of OS 5. For, again, around a month, maybe a bit more than that this time, and I was loving it. The only reason that I hopped away from elementaryOS was because of the severely outdated base of Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. Now, with this version right now that we're installing, which is based on the latest 24.04 LTS, I wouldn't have an issue even if it was 16.04, for example, because it actually basically only uses Flatpaks, which I love. I swear by Flatpaks. My base OS, Silverblue, is an immutable distribution, and I only use Flatpaks for software, so I'm 1000% on board with it. And they had some issues with the implementation of the whole Flatpak system with OS 6, I believe, but now with OS 8, this has been fixed. I have no issues about that. But yeah, I know that what I'm doing now is a bit boring, and also I absolutely love the development team, especially the head of development. Like, this is a really queer project, which is cool. And oh, it finished. I was just about to say that we'll wait until it's finished, but hey, I guess I know how to blabber on. elementaryOS 8 has been installed. Your device will automatically restart. After restarting, you can set up a new user, or can shut down now and set up a new user later. So this is basically OEM install. I'm gonna restart the device now, but this is incredibly helpful for those times that you want to help another user. Oh, remove the installation medium, so I'm gonna remove that. 1 second. I'm gonna hit enter. And now, for the moment of truth, I hope that it didn't really install grab on my main drive and that it installed it on the one that I selected. Let's see, I'm gonna go to BIOS. Oh, So yeah, let's fucking go. This is elementaryOS 8 on JMicron generic, and my main one is Fedora. As you can see, last time with Ubuntu, it installed it on my main Intenso PCIe, and before that, I also had Linux Mint, which was again labeled Ubuntu on Intenso PCIe, but I've since reformatted my entire drive because of an issue that I had. So yeah, that's why it's not there. Anyway, I'm gonna pick Fedora for my main boot screen, obviously, and let's do Intenso PCIe, and I don't really care about the rest, so I'm gonna save and exit setup for now, and I'm gonna go back to my boot menu, which, as you know, it's not working, so I'm gonna go back to my BIOS and figure everything out. I'm gonna go to boot override elementaryOS 8, and basically this is the moment of truth, because last time this was as far as I would get. It would boot fine, I could see the desktop, but it was just not really usable because colors were messed up, drivers were messed up, everything was messed up. But it seems like it's working now, because I'm 98% sure that also this screen was kind of messed up last time. So fingers crossed. Oh, wait, I think that it's working. And the window is centered. What? Wait. Let's go. I'm gonna have to select the language once again. It's English, United States. Sorry if it's a bit out of center right now, but this is the only place I can put my arm. English US, don't worry, we're gonna jump back on OBS in a couple of seconds. Create an account. So, for the full name, I'm gonna type my name, which is me. Username me, and I'm gonna type a super secret password, which is definitely not 1 and 2, and definitely not 1 and 2. And I'm gonna change the device name actually. I'm gonna do Angelos Elementary SSD. Yeah, you couldn't really see anything that I was typing, but I was trying to type with my non-dominant hand, which wasn't really all that easy. But anyway, can I change my icon from here? No, I'm clicking it. No, I'm guessing not. So point goes to GNOME and not Python, but anyway, it doesn't really matter for me. Shorter than the characters, yeah, cool. I'm gonna finish the setup, and this is the new login screen that I was talking about. I got this update and basically hoped a few days later, the first time that I used it, and for the first time ever, we have the choice of a classic and a secure session, and I believe that the secure session was the default one. Basically, secure is Wayland and classic is Xorg. I don't really like the naming convention that they used, but I can understand that they are marketing this towards not Linux users, basically the complete noobs, and they're essentially not making a Linux distro, they're just making an operating system for everyone, which is kind of the same thing in my opinion, but hey. So I'm gonna choose the secure session because I know that Wayland works great with NVIDIA, although I'm not sure if Pantheon works that good with NVIDIA. I know that GNOME is awesome and KDE is a bit shitty. But anyway, I'm gonna type my super secret password and enter and hope for the best. This is, oh! Let's go! I got an iBus notification, I don't care, I'm pretty sure that I only get that the first time I install Elementary. I'm gonna go really quickly through the welcome screen right now, welcome, basics, and etc. We have some updates and stuff. Drivers, huh? I'm gonna do the default for now. I'm gonna probably switch it to dark later, but I think I'm gonna do the default because it looks better on the video. As a color, I really want to do the blue because this is the default, but I also love the reddish pink and purple. What's it called? Wait, bubblegum. I'm gonna do bubblegum for now. I don't really want to enable night light right now, so I'm gonna skip this. Housekeeping, I would like to automatically delete all temporary files and trust files, yeah, because I sometimes forget. Screenshot download files, no, because all my files are here, basically. Online accounts, I don't want to connect anything. You can get some apps, yep, that's cool. Automatic updates. I typically don't leave anything enabled, although right now I think that I have app updates enabled. Yeah, I'm gonna disable it for now. And yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna get started. So now I'm gonna install OBS first of all. I'm gonna launch the store, which is the pop shop, obviously, although it's not called the pop shop. I know technically elementaryOS made this first, although I think that it was a shared effort between System 76 and the elementaryOS team. But yeah, also I'm like 99.9999% sure that elementaryOS was actually the first distro to use this SOP and not PopOS, but anyway. And it's taking quite some time to boot now. I'm not sure why that's happening. It stopped going up and down and I can't see it anywhere. Oh, here goes. We're checking for updates, of course, but I'm also gonna check for OBS Studio. And yeah, that was really cool and distant. And yeah, I'm gonna just install it through FlatHub, the normal one. Although I can, oh, we have 5 updates. And I know that I can technically install it system-wide, which is an amazing feature, but I think I'm gonna leave it in the default way. And yeah, oh, by the way, I love these screenshots because I'm pretty sure the background color changes based on what you have selected, although I'm not sure about that. Maybe it doesn't anymore. I'm pretty sure it did. And I love the whole accessibility thing in the top because it explains what you're seeing. I love this. The SOP is not really amazing, but I really like it. Anyway, I'm gonna install this real quick and we'll be back, and this time through the desktop. Oh, I'm also gonna update before doing all that. But yeah, you're not gonna get motion sickness from now on. And now it's time for an update. So I managed to get OBS installed over here. I haven't launched it yet, but I'm sure that it works fine. And what I realized was that I had no drivers. No sound, no graphics was working, nothing. So I went to the settings and into system drivers, and I selected this driver here, the NVIDIA driver 550. Now, when I chose that was the latest option. The 570 wasn't here, and it installed fine. I rebooted and now have the drivers working. But what completely stopped working was network. For some reason, it doesn't recognize anything. No Ethernet, no Wi-Fi, although I don't have a Wi-Fi card, but no Ethernet, absolutely nothing. So I tried reinstalling. I did those same exact steps, and I'm back here. Also, for some reason, the clock resets to 3 p.m. It's not 3 p.m., it's around 6 p.m. now. I started recording back an hour ago or something. But yeah, I'm not really sure what's wrong, and I don't really want to give up yet. So I did some research online, and I found out that maybe the issue is a package that got uninstalled for some reason. So what I'll do now is I'll boot into my Fedora, which I'm sure has Ethernet and an internet connection. I'll download the package as a deb, transfer it over, and then just try again. And I really hope that this works because I don't want to finish the episode off here. But yeah, let me log in and let me go find the package. Well, nothing. I researched the issue online. Other people seem to have the same problem, but most of them didn't. The last I could find, the last report I could find was from 2 or 3 years ago, I don't remember. I went ahead and got this file, which is Linux modules extra 6.11.0.29, which is the actual version that this uses. It's over here somewhere. Yep. 6.11.0-29, that's generic. I installed that using deepkg. It installed fine. I rebooted, but still nothing. I get no Wi-Fi, no Ethernet, no nothing. And I'm not really sure why that's happening. Also, my mouse has been lagging. I really don't know why. And I can't really do anything right now without internet, so yeah, I'm not really sure what will happen, because if I try to refresh for updates, it says that yeah, we have some. Trying to download them, nope, failed, because again, no internet. So I guess this is a defeat once again. I guess that there won't be an actual episode. This is the second time in a row that I've had issues with elementaryOS. Now, sure, maybe it's my somewhat outdated PC, but no, elementaryOS is the only distro that I've had severe issues with. Although, yeah, Ubuntu also had some issues, but it wasn't because of my system, it's just that Ubuntu wasn't able to update properly, basically. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Should I just try a third time to reinstall? Sure, what could go wrong? I'll be right back. It's getting... I can't believe this. So, tried reinstalling on the same drive for the third time, could not install. I'm gonna try the installation again. I'm gonna pick JMacron generic, 240.1 gigabytes, yep. That's all fine. I'm not going to encrypt, include, sure, resin install, and partitioning the drive, nope. Perfect. OMG, I got it working! Except that I didn't. I was completely unable to. I'm not exactly sure why it happened, but yeah. And in case anyone is curious about my SSD, and you are right to be, because that was my first thought, like, is it my SSD's problem? Is it just not working? Well, no, it's working perfectly fine, as it turns out. This is CubesOS, which is a fantastic little project. It's an amazingly cool idea. Basically, every single program that I have is a different virtual machine, which is cool as fuck. It's not really the best for multitasking, and it's not really the best for anything that requires a graphics card, but it's cool. Tell me down below if you actually want more stuff about CubesOS, either a Distro Dive or a standard video over on my main channel. But yeah, no, this is working perfectly fine, unlike elementaryOS, which, as you probably already know, I've tried reinstalling 5 to 10 times, I can't even remember, and I tried all sorts of things, even manual partitioning and stuff. It just wouldn't work. Also, I also tried Fedora Kinoite, which is basically the only ISO that I always have downloaded, and the latest version, because every couple of months I'm like, hey, maybe I want KDE instead of GNOME, but then every single time I'm like, no, GNOME is better, for me at least. So yeah, I downloaded it, installed it, ran perfectly fine, without any issues. Also, some people pointed out on my Mastodon that probably elementaryOS wasn't installing correctly due to Ventoy, because I use Ventoy for all my ISOs, and I tried burning a separate flash drive with elementaryOS, and still I had the same issues. And yeah, actually you were right in general about the whole idea, because CubesOS was only able to be installed using a separate flash drive. It couldn't find the ISO basically using Ventoy, which is normal, I guess. It doesn't matter really. But yeah, no, CubesOS, absolutely amazing, 1000% recommended. Yeah, that was a jump scare, honestly, because for the first time I thought that, it was actually my drive, that's why I had all these issues, and now elementaryOS is working fine. But then I saw that the drivers weren't installed, and I'm like, that's weird. But I was like, maybe that's how it works. So I go to the settings, I see that there's a driver available. Weirdly, not the latest version. It wasn't an option basically. So I install another version, it downloads and installs, I reboot, and guess what? The drivers are working perfectly fine without any issues whatsoever. NVIDIA X Settings Manager launches perfectly fine. I had no issues. But then I go to update and I realize that I have no network connection whatsoever. I tried everything. I tried going on forums, literally everything. But for some reason, I couldn't get it to work. And I had to reboot to my Fedora, grab some files, some deb files for the Linux kernel and stuff, and then reboot back to elementaryOS and install it there, but nothing would fix the issue. I remember that I got tired rebooting all the time, so I went to my MacBook over here to download the files and copy them over. And then, for some reason, my USB flash drive decided that, hey, I'm not gonna work today. I don't really like it. I can't. But anyway, I basically wasted a couple of hours, and then I'm like, maybe I should just try to reinstall. So that's exactly what I did. And this time I grabbed a fresh ISO and I burned it without using inventory. I just burned it to a flash drive basically. That is working perfectly fine. I go to reinstall and I get the same exact error message that I was getting on my other drive. I go to the demo environment and I use gparted to configure my drives and basically get the SSD back to factory defaults. Basically just make a new partition table without any partitions whatsoever and let it do its thing. But nope, it wouldn't work. I tried different settings, I tried not allowing automatic driver installation, I tried everything. I even tried custom installing and specifying the root and subpartitions and all that. Nope, I was getting the same error message. And after some digging around that I did, I'm pretty sure that it has to do with my system configuration. Basically, I have 4 drives, although 2 of them were for the installation. But anyway, I had another 2 drives, and what I believe was happening is that it was getting confused because of all my different drives and settings. And I honestly don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me because I've never had this issue with another operating system, and also the Fedora Anaconda installer for Silverblue and all other versions except for Workstation, I believe now. I don't know. When installing, it actually automatically selects my NVMe drive for the OS, which is the one that I'm using either way. So even it can pick automatically the best choice for me, but for some reason, elementaryOS couldn't do that. And I don't know why that was happening. As I said, it doesn't really make sense to me. But I'm like, okay, let's just leave it for a bit. So I left it for 2 days or so, and then I decided to try again. I actually started a new recording. I was like, hey, let's pretend that this whole thing didn't happen and let's start over. But still, no. I wasn't really able to do anything with it. The same exact error message. So, not sure what was going on in here. But then I made the decision to actually give up. So I made the announcement that, the live gaming whole thing will not be broadcasted live because it won't happen because I don't have elementaryOS installed. And while doing that, I also tried installing other operating systems on my external SSD to make sure that it's not an issue with the drive. I installed Fedora Kinoid, worked perfectly fine, updated fine, installed the drivers fine, everything was working fine. I installed CubesOS, and yeah, I do really like CubesOS. I'm not sure why I do, but I just love the concept. It's not really daily driver worthy, for me at least, and for basically everyone that's not ultra paranoid about their privacy and safety, but it's an amazing concept, and yeah, I'm gonna keep playing around with it and use it from time to time. And by the way, a quick little side note, do you want to see more stuff with CubesOS, Tails, and like other really niche and weird and interesting Linux distributions? I'm not talking about someone taking Ubuntu and making a fun little theme and making that a whole separate distro for some reason. I'm talking about distros that actually have something cool to offer and unique, like CubesOS. Or another idea that I had was actually configuring window managers, because before doing the whole thing with Fedora Silverblue, which I absolutely love, I was using some window managers. I was using the Awesome Window Manager, I was using i3, BSPWM, I can't remember honestly. And I remember that I was hopping around all the different window managers that I was using so much that I just didn't make a YouTube video about it. I think I made one with Awesome Window Manager, but not with the rest. But anyway, I'm slowly getting back into it, so if you're actually curious about it, or if you want to just watch me suffer while trying to remember the syntax, then yeah, comment down below. It probably won't be on this channel, obviously, it's gonna be on my main, but yeah, I'm really curious because that's the sort of content that I absolutely love watching, but I'm just not sure if I'll be able to make it actually enjoyable for anyone else. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, after all that, I completely gave up. But that doesn't mean that I can't talk about elementaryOS, because I've used it before, and for around a month before doing the whole Distro Dive, I was actually playing around with it on a VM, and it was working perfectly fine on the VM for some reason, I'm not sure why. Also, something that I forgot to talk about, I came across a Reddit thread today talking about the elementaryOS installer and how it works every single time on VMs, but when it comes to real hardware, it gets confused sometimes. So maybe that has to do with it, I don't know. But yeah, elementaryOS. I was using version 5 before the redesign of the lock screen, and I absolutely loved it back then. But I was in my distro hopping era, so I just hopped onto the next one, kinda never looked back. Then during the whole coronavirus quarantine thing, I don't remember why, but I got back with elementaryOS, probably because I was using Solus and I tried installing the beta of Ubuntu 20.04, but that wouldn't work for some reason, and it wiped my Solus for some other reason. So I used elementary. I can't remember. Probably not. That was probably after that. I was using Manjaro and then elementary. I honestly can't remember, but I was using elementary, and 2004, the Ubuntu 2004 was already released for a couple of months, I believe, and I loved it, especially that feature where you press Super and F, and you can pick a window to basically always have it on your screen on a picture-in-picture mode. That's amazing. I love it. Another thing that I absolutely love about elementaryOS is the theme and the modern skeuomorphism that they have, because it's not something that you see often. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Adwaita, the current GNOME theme and look and vibes. That's my thing. I absolutely love it. But then again, skeuomorphism is kinda cool, honestly, for me at least. So, yeah. That doesn't mean that I absolutely love everything about elementaryOS. Like, the file manager is a bit weird. It's not that pretty, and it uses the whole, when you move files, it doesn't do the thing that GNOME does, that basically hides the process in a cool little way. You click the icon to see the status, or that KDE has, that it's basically a permanent notification on the desktop, which is my favorite thing ever about any desktop environment. It basically does the macOS or Windows thing where a separate window pops up that transfers the file, that says that it's transferring the files. Luckily, it's not like macOS, where if you close it, you have to spend 45 minutes to an hour trying to find where it went. But then again, macOS also has the preview on the actual icon of the file that you're transferring. So if you transfer a video file, then under the preview of the file, there will be a progress bar that represents the copying or something. That's cool. Now, I have no idea how you go about implementing that, but I would love to see it, especially on elementaryOS. And the dock is actually way better than it used to be. Doesn't have any bugs as far as I'm concerned. I haven't come across any. Also, updating used to be super buggy for some reason, but now, no. It has offline updates, and they're separate from the App Store, which I like. So you go to settings and then about, and then it will say that, hey, you have updates, download and restart and all that. You can update and shut down with something that Fedora Workstation has, which I love. Like, it has a lot of cool features. And then from the same panel where you upgrade the system, you can also install firmware drivers, you can update your firmware, you can install drivers for the different peripherals that you might have. It picked up my Logic Bolt connector and my MX Master 3S mouse and my keyboard and my microphone and everything. It picked it up and it was like, hey, you don't need any drivers, but here are the devices that you have. Cool! And then from the software store, you update all the apps that you have. Now, absolutely love the fact that elementaryOS only uses Flatpaks, basically. They have their own Flatpak remote, which doesn't really have a lot of apps, but they only use Flatpaks for all the applications that you use on a daily basis, which is, it's amazing coming from Silverblue. I only use Flatpaks. Everything on my desktop is a Flatpak except for like my VPN, which I've layered on is an RPM package. But yeah, now, an issue that I used to have with elementaryOS since I believe version 6, where they made Flatpak the only way to install packages, was that FlatHub wasn't enabled by default. You could enable it by just grabbing a Flatpak ref file and sideloading it, then it would populate the FlatHub repository on the software center, but I didn't like that. It was one of those features that, okay, I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it at the same time because I could understand where that comes from. But now they fixed that completely. FlatHub is there by default, which is cool. And basically, while using it on my VM, I had no bugs whatsoever, and I was really using it. So yeah, the actual bare metal installation didn't work, but who knows, maybe if something went wrong with Silverblue and I had to install it on my NVMe, maybe then it would work just fine, or maybe I would just waste a day trying to get it to work and then just give up and reinstall something like Fedora Circe or Kinoid or Silverblue again. And as I said in the beginning, I absolutely love and adore elementaryOS, the whole team behind it, the updates that they post. Amazing distro, I absolutely love them. I don't want to spread any negativity towards them. This is just my actual experience with it. And I was actually considering just not doing this episode because it's the second one in a row that failed, basically. And I think that has to do with the fact that it's the Debian-based, Ubuntu-based, actually, yeah. All of them. Well, the one was Ubuntu, so obviously it's Ubuntu based. What am I talking about that? Yeah. But yeah, if someone from the elementaryOS team is actually watching this, which I doubt, then I'm free to talk about it and try to recreate it and just share as much info as possible with you to maybe fix this, if this is like a major issue, like, and I'm not the only one having the problem, but if I am, then I'm sorry, I guess I'm an idiot. But anyway, I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to give you any configuration video or live gaming or editing or all the other stuff that I wanted to do, and I'm sorry that this episode is really shorter. Probably. I'm not really sure how long it's going to be, but it's probably a lot shorter than all the other episodes. And I'm sorry that it's been ages, but it's just that I'm busy and I just can't make this kind of big production for me because it requires a lot of editing and time, like the time that I spend not recording, not editing, just actually using the OS is just too much to do on a regular basis, but I'm trying my best, okay? But yeah, once again, I'm terribly sorry for this. And I really hope that the next one is going to be better. I'm probably not gonna pick an Ubuntu-based distro for a while, just to make sure that I actually can get through the whole dive properly. Because I'm not gonna lie, this almost made me quit the whole series. So yeah. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. If you want to learn more stuff about Distro Dive, then you can go to my website, which is this whole thing. Yeah, I'm sorry that's not shorter. And also, if you actually enjoy watching me rant on about stuff and computers and technology and Linux and all that jazz, then you can find me on all these social thingies down here. I also have my own YouTube channel, which you can maybe check out. I don't know. All Distro Dive content is also published on Odyssey if you want to get away from YouTube. If you're watching on Odyssey, then good job. And if you actually want to feel how a normal dive is, then I would just suggest that you go back to the first dive I did with Linux Mint. That was the best one. And maybe Ubuntu. Yeah, Ubuntu was a cool one as well, even though I had issues and it basically didn't finish. So technically, another dive has concluded. And I hope that I will see you next time without any issues.